grandfather Jay mocks him openly. Jay calls the boy a patsy and tells him he needs to be more suspicious of people. Jay believes he is the only one in the house with an edge. Later, Jay attends a birthday party for a dog. He hates every second of it, but he is running a play. He hopes Gloria will get offended and storm out. If she fails to stay at his event, Jay plans to use her exit as leverage to skip a boring picnic the following day. He is using her emotions to buy himself a free afternoon. Manny watches the manipulation unfold. Instead of staying silent, Manny approaches Gloria. He uses quiet psychology to convince her that Jay is making a massive sacrifice for her. He persuades her to return to the party and stay by Jay's side. Jay's leverage vanishes. He is trapped at the dog party and forced to attend the picnic he tried to escape. The next morning, Jay finds Manny sitting on the couch. The boy is watching The Sting, a classic film about professional swindlers. Jay looks at the DVD box and then at his grandson. He realizes the pyramid scheme was a distraction. Manny didn't lose $40 because he was gullible. He played the part of the victim to lure Jay into a false sense of superiority. Jay was the mark all along. The boy didn't just get even, he ran a long con on a man who thought he was too smart to be fooled.
Claire Dunphy attempts to rebrand her relationship with her daughter, Haley, on her 21st birthday. She abandons her role as a disciplinarian and announces they are now peers. To prove her commitment to this new, cool mom persona, Claire promises to accept any decision Haley makes without judgment. Haley immediately exploits this opening. She proposes that they get matching mother-daughter tattoos. Claire realizes the trap, but refuses to back down. She agrees to the plan to avoid appearing hypocritical. They arrive at a local tattoo shop. Claire goes first to demonstrate her resolve. She lies on the table as the artist begins the permanent work. The needle carves the Sanskrit word for mother into her skin. Claire suppresses her physical pain, maintaining a facade of casual indifference. She expects Haley to be next. However, the situation shifts when Phil Dunphy pulls up outside the shop. He has brought a new car wrapped in a bow as a birthday surprise. Haley spots the vehicle through the glass and erupts in excitement. The prospect of a new car instantly overrides the tattoo pact. Haley abandons the chair and runs out of the shop to join her father. She leaves Claire behind. Claire stands alone in the parlor with a fresh, permanent mark on her body that no longer has a pair. Her attempt to manipulate the social dynamic has backfired. She is left with a lifelong reminder of a failed experiment in friendship, while Haley drives away.
Coach Cam sits in a diner, spending 10 minutes meticulously cutting a chicken fried steak. It is game day. This is his lucky meal. He wears a blue hat that he refuses to wash, believing it is the sole reason for his team's 5-game winning streak. His partner, Mitchell, dismisses these rituals as psychological weakness. The conflict moves to the stadium. Mitchell arrives in the stands, and the team's performance immediately collapses. Players miss routine tackles. The defense fails to hold the line. Cam watches the lead slip away and identifies Mitchell as a jinx. He demands Mitchell leave to remove the negative energy from the field. With 6 seconds left on the clock, the team trails 28-31. They are 40 yards from the end zone. Mitchell tries to exit the stadium by climbing a chain-link fence, but his pant leg catches on a metal spike. He hangs upside down, dangling helplessly in front of the crowd. This public humiliation acts as the ultimate sacrifice within the coach's superstitious logic. While Mitchell remains trapped on the fence, the quarterback launches a desperate Hail Mary pass. The receiver secures the ball in the end zone as time expires. The Dolphins win. Cam runs to the perimeter and hauls Mitchell off the wire. The coach admits he forced Mitchell to carry the burden of the team's failure. Mitchell acknowledges the bad energy was real, but points out his own physical incompetence as a climber. They stand by the fence, reconciling through a victory defined by technical absurdity. Claire and Phil struggle to park their car because their neighbors, Ronnie and Amber, have blocked the driveway with a massive boat named Jackpot. Claire attempts a diplomatic resolution by offering homemade banana bread. The neighbors respond with immediate hostility. They mock the bread and ridicule Claire's appearance, flatly refusing to move the vessel. Ronnie claims the driveway as his territory and insults Phil's attempts at friendliness. Phil shifts tactics. He He abandons diplomacy for a strategy of total mobilization. He calls his father, who arrives with a fleet of massive RVs manned by retired friends. The seniors park their vehicles along the street, effectively blockading Ronnie's house. The retirees set up camp on the sidewalk, blasting loud talk radio and performing Tai Chi in short robes. The neighborhood becomes a high-pressure zone of constant elderly observation. The psychological warfare works. Ronnie and Amber find the constant presence of the RV fleet unbearable. Ronnie approaches Phil and admits defeat. He agrees to move the boat to his brother's house to end the standoff. Phil prepares to accept the surrender, believing the conflict is over. A police siren interrupts the truce. An officer arrives, responding to an anonymous complaint about illegal vehicle storage. Claire realizes her secret report from days earlier has finally been processed. The officer ignores the peace deal and issues citations to everyone, the boat owner, and the entire RV fleet. Ronnie realizes Claire was the informant. The peace agreement collapses instantly. Both families are left with heavy fines and a deeper, more permanent hostility. Phil Dunphy reviews the wedding footage and faces a career-ending realization. He is the source of the family's illness. The video shows him sneezing directly onto the tiered wedding cake. He sprays germs over the champagne glasses. He is patient zero, and the evidence is recorded in high definition. Phil cannot afford a confession. He converts his garage into a makeshift studio, hanging a green screen behind a table. He puts on his wedding suit and positions a camera. He records himself laughing, nodding, and reacting to speeches that aren't there. He then opens professional editing software to begin a digital reconstruction of the past. He cuts out every frame of his sneezing fits. He uses the green screen footage to layer a healthy, smiling version of himself over the original wedding background. He resyncs the audio and manipulates the timeline until the evidence of his infection is digitally erased. The family gathers in the living room for the premiere. Phil plays the edited video, confident in his deception. On screen, he appears perfectly healthy. However, the camera captures other uncomfortable facts. The footage highlights Claire's visible sweat stains and Jay's distorted, ugly crying face. The room fills with fresh humiliation as each family member sees their own flaws magnified on the large screen. Phil thinks his technical precision has saved him, but digital manipulation has limits. A small slip-up reveals the truth. The facade collapses, and the family realizes Phil doctored the footage to hide his guilt. He remains the man who poisoned the wedding.
Claire Dunphy develops a high fever and severe vertigo after catching a cold. Her balance is compromised, but she refuses to cancel her schedule. She is driven by a need to maintain the Supergirl image established by her father, Jay. Jay prizes physical toughness and has a history of praising Claire for working through injuries. Claire arrives at a high-end revolving restaurant for a critical client meeting. The slow, mechanical rotation of the floor immediately triggers intense nausea. She stumbles through the lobby, using luggage carts and pillars to stay upright. Inside the restaurant, the world spins. Claire grips the table as the floor moves beneath her. She hides her disorientation from the client, forcing herself to talk business while her body prepares to collapse. She completes the negotiation through sheer willpower, but the physical toll is visible. She soon realizes this obsession with perfection is affecting more than just herself. She watches her young brother, Manny, suffer from the same crushing anxiety. He is terrified of failing Jay's expectations. At the family dinner, Claire's condition peaks. She sits at the table with a cold compress